I'm here today with the incredible Schmier to talk about Destruction's new record, Diabolical, out April 8th on Napalm Records. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. The album is finally coming out, so it's about time. We recorded early last year until summer, then we mixed it. Then COVID was still there. Then the label said, let's push back. And for me, the album is already 1 year old now, so I'm eager to get it out to the fans and that people can hear the new material. And, it's long for a musician to wait for like, back in the day, it was just several months. You gave the album to the label, it came out. Now it's like, here it is. And then 1 year later, it's coming out. It's like, oh, come on. But,
By the time the album comes out, you almost have another album ready.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like sex. When you just had sex, you don't have sex again. I mean, not at my age. No, seriously. But we have a lot of good songs, and we kind of try to put some in the live set now and see how that goes. And then we got to think about a new album in 2 years when the tour is over.
So, what goals do you set for yourself and the band when it's time for you to sit down and start to prepare the new record?
The question is, are you ready to write? Are you inspired? And I think any musician, any artist needs to be inspired. And COVID didn't make it easier for a while. When you have so much negative thoughts, all my friends are like, "Oh, it's gonna be great lyrics and stuff," but it's more like when you're depressed, you don't write good stuff normally. You have to be a little angry and a little pissed off and a little motivated, and then it's actually the best. And I waited 1 year into COVID till I started writing, and then it was actually fine. When I started, it was like exploding with ideas, and I nearly wrote like a song a day for a while, and it was going really good. But I sit down before, and there was nothing. I tried to play and write, and there was nothing came out. That happens too. It's music, it's art. It's you have to be inspired, I guess.
What kind of impact did the few lineup changes that the band has gone through over the last couple of years? What kind of impact did that have on this album?
The chemistry of a band is the essence of music. That's why I always say, the best music comes out of bands when they're in the early stage, when they're friends, when they get along. Then they start to make money. They start to be egos. They start to fight. The music gets shit. So I think it's a little bit like this, that we have a great chemistry in the band now. It was a difficult time, COVID and the split with Mike and the new record label, and now we could be together and play music again in the studio, and that was great. And I think the chemistry was really smooth this time. We're all pulling on the same string, same direction. We're backing each other up. We can relate on each other. There's no big discussions about style of music or where you go. It's the gut. It's not the brain that writes. It's just coming out of us. And in the past it was like this, with Mike and me, we were like this a little bit. I'm the thrasher, I'm the old school guy. He was a guy that likes 70s and 60s and prog rock and all weird stuff that sometimes is not so good to put into Destruction's music. So sometimes our songwriting was like this, and what came out was a compromise, and that's not always very helpful when you have to write a whole album like this, when you don't click on everything. And this time it was actually that everybody in the band gave 100% and was totally into it and motivated. Of course the new guy is motivated because he's the new guy, But Martin is in the band since a long time because he's the sound guy and the tour manager also. So he knows the band pretty well.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because when I looked at this album, when I started listening to Diabolical and I look back at Born to Perish, I thought this album was more together. It felt more compact. It felt more like a record. So do you think that experience that Diabolical has comes from that different lineup and from that effect that everybody's kind of rowing towards the same direction?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because now that I'm writing for so long, and I've been writing with different bands also, and for Destruction with different members, and I always see that when there's chemistry, it's just the spark is there, then it's just so much easier to write, you know, because you inspire each other, you agree on certain things, and it's easier to find solutions for difficult situations also. So I think the chemistry between band members is definitely essential for the writing process.
For those out there that only heard the singles, that are not as lucky as me, that I got to listen to the whole album already, do you feel the singles paint a vivid picture of what the whole album is going to be about, sound-wise?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we chose there's one more coming. The trailer's coming today, and next week is the single coming, Repent to Sins, which is kind of more of a groovy song. But we chose the songs that represent the album good, I think, because Diabolical is the title track, and it's the opener of the record. It shows the direction, and the other single, No Faith in Humanity, is maybe one of the heaviest songs on the album. And now the next single is one of the groovy songs. So then we have, like, I think the whole album covered, because it's pretty brutal. It's in your face. It's maybe one of the heaviest albums we wrote, but it also has some different elements, some more guitars, some more solos. It has some groovy songs also, but mainly it's a lot of fast stuff also, I think.
Well, so what is the red line that connects every single track, considering all of those little differences that you mentioned now that exist throughout the entire record?
The hate. It's the I mean, at
you're
the end,
pissed off, and that's
I'm fucking pissed off. You know, the world is pissing me off every day. You know, so basically, that's the connection. I mean, the song lyrics are diabolical. The title song is about the leaders that mislead. You know, the leaders that misuse power in America, in Germany, in Russia, everywhere. You know, and the other songs are a lot of personal tracks. Songs about anxiety, like State of Apathy. Songs about personal experiences, like Hope Dies Last is a song that, you know, talks about rock bottom, when you're down, when in the COVID times, when we had no motivation, no money was coming in, no shows. It was important to have strength and go on. And then I wrote Hope Dies Last as one of the first songs of the album. And it gave me, like, power back. I was like, yeah, dude, come on, you can do it. And, you know, you have to stand up and continue. And I think those songs are important as a musician to keep the faith also, you know. And a song like Last of the Dying Breed is a song about old school values, you know, that are kind of decaying at the moment, you know, that we grew up in a different generation in the 80s with the Cold War and without the internet, you know, so it's different. And now I love the internet, but I see also a lot of values that are going away, and people are just staring into their smartphones, you know. And that's another song on the album, Horrification, is about the prostitution in the internet of people that are just selling themselves with showing all their lives on the internet, you know. And the word influencer is for me like something scary. I think I don't want to be influenced by people that load up videos in the internet, you know. I want to make my own experience. I want to have individuality, you know. Mm-hmm. Those are the things we talk about in the lyrics, basically.
I like the fact that you guys set up the album in a very old school kind of way, with an intro that leads you into Diabolical, and then Diabolical kind of just opens the book on the whole record, and you're like, okay, we're on for a freaking ride. Like, this album is going to smash our face from the beginning all the way to the end. And then you finish the record with a cover, which, like, the whole vibe has an old school approach, even though the album has a very modern sound to it. Why did you decide to go with that setup, specifically going with a cover right at the end?
I mean, I don't really agree on that 100% modern sound, because we didn't use any triggers, or we didn't put the drums on the grid. It's like real sound. It's real played drums. It's not like that you fix the drums afterwards. So it's really Randy Black playing. And you can hear that sometimes, that the band is like not 100% super tight, like they do nowadays when they put everything together on the computer, you know. We try to make the album sound a little bit more open, a little bit more rock and roll still. But of course, the production has to be fat, you know. It's a fat production for sure. And I think the old school approach was an important thing on this album. The cover, the intro, the songs, everything goes a little bit more back to the roots, you know, because that's what the band is all about. We're a band from the 80s. We should sound like a band from the 80s. Of course, we're an upgraded version now, but still the roots are the main important thing. When I listen to my favorite band and they don't sound like my favorite band anymore, there's so many examples, you know, of bands that let you down over the years, then you're disappointed. And I don't want this to happen with Destruction, you know. Some people may say, hey, this band sounds the same since the 80s, but, you know, I think we have our own style and we should defend it. And I think that's important to you know, to stick to your guns and still develop the style a little bit. On the new album, you hear a lot of new elements also that we didn't do before. There's more solos, more double harmonies, more lead guitars. And we always try new things. You know, people think we're so limited because we're a thrash band. It's not the case, actually, you know. But of course, you know, here and there, there's a riff that you say, hey, maybe I heard this before. And yeah, we pay tribute to ourselves this way also, you know, in inspiration that comes from the 80s. And I think that's so important to, I don't listen to all those new bands. I listen to the stuff from the 80s. So I'm still inspired from the 80s. And when I write songs, I really don't listen to anything new that could like get me off the track. You know, I'm trying to write the album that I would personally buy, basically. I would go to the store and say, hey, listen to this. Oh, sounds good. I'm going to get it.
I love the guitar sound on this record. Did you give the guys some pointers on how you felt like the guitars needed to be on Diabolical?
I mean, the guys are, you know, in the Damir's in the band for a long time now. He knows all the tricks and the riffs and the history. And Martin is a producer. He's mixing us for many years. He's a tour manager. He knows all our details. So the two guys are highly motivated, and they picked up the torch really easily. And when I was pushing them, I was the one that said, come on, we need more guitars, we need more leads, we need more overdubs, we need double harmonies. And they were really into it. And it was a nice ride. And I think, yes, I read a review where somebody said it's too many guitars, but come on, this is fucking metal. There's no such things.
There's no such thing as too many guitars.
Exactly.
I want to ask you about your vocals. I felt like this album, you were very dynamic vocally throughout the entire record. Like you gave the album a lot of energy, a lot of life. Is that something that you felt like a record that had this sort of pissed off attitude needed from you?
I think it's important. And, you know, the vocal and the style is, over the years, it's easy that you change a little bit because you get older, you know, the vocal range gets different and the vocal cords get different. So I try to develop my vocals and still sound like myself. And sometimes when I listen to old stuff, I'm like, ooh, dude, this sounds different, you know, but that's also the way age goes. And I try to bring in the full variety over the years. I just learned to control my voice better and maintain it better also for the live situation. And I think I just try to bring in the full range from high to low, from really screaming to a little bit more catchy parts. I wouldn't say melodic, but kind of, you know, there's some vocal harmonies here and there but it's definitely like my heart blood in there. You know, I try to express my vocals through every song a little bit differently. And I have more voice control now that I'm older. It's kind of weird, but somehow it was good that we played a lot, so my voice stays in shape. But yeah, at the end, also the album has a lot of first takes, which is something that people maybe not believe, but we did the demos, and out of the demos, the album kind of constructed, and we kept stuff from the demos, like solos, rhythm guitars, some vocals, the drums we redid, and most rhythm guitars we redid, but some stuff really stayed in the original way, because there was this spark, this magic moment that you sing it once and it's like, hey, this is cool. And then when you sing it again, you sing it a little bit different. It's not the same anymore. And when you're young, you always want to redo. You're like, I can do better. I can do better. And when you get older and wiser, you lean back and say, hey, this was a good performance. Let's keep it. And that's the good thing about the new album. I think we have a lot of moments that are really like first takes that we kept from the demos.
Do you do anything for your voice? I know, as you said, as you gotten older, your vocals have changed and you adapt with it and you learn how to use them better. But outside of that, do you do anything to ensure that you don't lose that ability that you have?
Less drugs, less alcohol, less party. Seriously, when you're young, it's easy to maintain better. But when you get older, you have to watch yourself. And I drink less. I try to live healthy. I do sports. I eat good. I drink a lot of water on tour. I think water is the main key. Bruce Dickinson said that once. You know, you need to drink like 3 liters of water for your voice, as much as you can. And it's really true that the more water you drink, the more the vocal cords come back when they're like kind of harmed. And yeah, you know, also shut the fuck up is the best recipe for maintaining your voice. Don't talk so much when you're on tour. When you sing at night, the voice is kind of, you know, how you say this, fucked up. And then you need to just, you know, calm down. So I think back in the day, I was drinking Jack Daniels the whole night, you know, and screaming around. And that doesn't really help anymore. So I don't do this anymore. But I have a good glass of wine or beer and I'm happy. And I don't need to live the wildest lifestyle anymore that we did when we were young.
And on that note of the tour, I have one last question for you, which is you guys announced a North American tour. It's been a while since you guys been on this side of the Atlantic. So what can fans expect from
5 years again,
yeah. 5 years, yeah. What can fans expect from this North American tour as far as Diabolical is concerned?
I think, I mean, the band is now tighter than ever, and we have the 2 guitars back. So the American fans didn't see us with 2 guitars, which you know, it's so much more power live, and we can do all the harmony songs again that we did on Release from Agony, and also the newer tracks. It just sounds so much better with 2 guitars. So we're gonna have a set list, of course, of a lot of classics. A lot of old songs will be in there. We will see. You know, it's difficult when you have so many albums, but I think we have a great set list that we had also in our live on our live DVD, live Blu-ray lately. That has basically the best of Destruction, and we're gonna come up with something like that. Of course, the new album is very strong. I think we definitely gonna put some new songs. For sure, the video songs, Diabolical, No Faith, and Repent, and maybe one more. And yeah, but it's going to be something from all over the Destruction history, for sure.
Well, on that note, Schmier, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the great city of Toronto. I already marked the date on my calendar. I'll definitely be at the venue. I'll be saying hi to you. I'm not going to ask you to talk too much, so you can save your voice. But I'll definitely be looking forward to seeing you guys in Toronto during this North American tour.
Cool, that sounds great. We're really looking forward. It's you know, the beast is unleashed. We've been holding back for 2 years now. The connection with the fans wasn't there. It's missing so much. It's like studio work is great, writing is killer, rehearsing is fine, but you're missing the main point, the orgasm, you know, meeting the fans and the stage. So we're looking forward to play again. And I hope a lot of fans also are waiting for the shows, and see you soon.
See you soon. Take care, man. All the best.
Thanks a lot.